So, I mean, every day is different, I guess. Leave home at about 5:30 and then come to here because obviously we have customers from super early at this shop. Usually we just come here, check in with the gals that are working, maybe help with the dial-in on the espresso, catch up with them, see if there's anything they need to talk to me about, and then I'd usually if it gets super busy, sometimes I get like caught up in the rush, which is quite nice, or I usually try and avoid the school traffic and get down to Windermere for like 7ish. But this shop has been super unpredictable. Sometimes you'll get like random Wednesday rushes with like unprepared, and it just hits you from nowhere. In winter it's a little bit more chilled. I think people are waking up a little bit later, doing a little bit less exercise. But in summer, when the sun is shining from really early, it's a vibe here from like 5:45 onwards, which is really nice. So Humble started in 2017. It was originally just me and the coffee roaster. We didn't really have like a brick and mortar shop in the beginning. I was just trying to get like customer bases kind of built up in the wholesale roasting space. And then after a year or so of doing that, I kind of realized that you need kind of a space to interact with customers and like, you know, especially in coffee, interact with people, talk about your product, serve your product, and so it was just like an empty warehouse on Churchill Road, and a lot of people thought I was a bit crazy for saying I was going to put like a coffee shop there. In the beginning it was just going to be like an espresso bar with a couple of pastries and bagels and that kind of thing, and it did stay that for a while until I would say it was more after COVID. We were open from August until lockdown, so yeah, it was about 6 months, and then we obviously had to close for a couple of months, and then after COVID it was more it turned into more of like a cafe space, I'd say. We put like the co-working table there, and more people were working at home, so we kind of tapped into that hot-spotting kind of like co-working area, and that's how the business grew into like a cafe restaurant, and then it kind of just kept on snowballing into this restaurant, and then it became like a full-on brunch cafe. And then this one opened in 2021, and then we moved just recently in April to our new home on Windermere Road, which was kind of cool. But I was a barista I worked at another Durban coffee shop, Love Coffee, from 2014 to 2017, I'd say, and that kind of really helped me, you know, get acquainted with the Durban coffee scene, but also kind of work out what I wanted to do and where I wanted to be in the industry, I guess. That's how I kind of got into roasting as a sidestep off from being a barista, even though now I'm kind of a bit of everything, barista as well. Yeah. We have a small roastery attached to the cafe, and we roast twice a week. Lyndall Cliffy's worked her way up in Humble from a barista to now a production roaster, and she's really worked hard to develop her skills. Her palate is just developing really well, and she's really dedicated to the craft. We have our house blend, our love blends that stay consistent throughout the year. We cup every Friday, me and Lyndall together, and we do this to measure consistency, but we also have a lot of samples coming in from importers and farms that we like to try and plan our next releases and see what's available in terms of like a South African landscape. Yeah, the cardamom buttons, those are also something that we really worked on the recipe for a long time, and then recently, I don't know what Princess has been doing, but she's just absolutely nailing them. They're just tasting, they melt in your mouth, they're so good. Yeah, it's like Cardi B's. It's like our thing now, which is nice. It's so nice. It's like an ode to Edinburgh. There's like a really beautiful Well, there's so many beautiful cafes in Edinburgh, but there's one that does cardamom buns called Soderberg. It's like a Swedish bakery. And I was like, if I have my own cafe, we need to like master this cardamom bun, recipe. So it's kind of just a lot of like taste testing and trial and error, but we got there in the end. I wanted something that was kind of strong and simple and bold, and then I think it also came from like a space of everybody's always like, when I moved to Durban, everybody was always like, why Durban? Durban is, like nothing happens in Durban, nothing goes on in Durban. So it was more about being like making cool things happen in humble spaces, because I feel like Durban is a lot of the time underestimated. I've definitely fell in love with Durban as like a city. I can't really just like explain it. It was weird. I came here like with the school in 2012, and then I just had this like real burning desire to come back and see more of the city. And I did. Obviously, I did like a gap year kind of situation, and I stayed in the backpackers for a long time on Florida Road. But I think Durban is just like such a beautiful, beautiful place. I mean, the weather is great, the people are great. And I just saw such an opportunity for like entrepreneurship, I guess, here. I think it's also, I was super young, super naive, and at that point I was like, like throwing caution to the wind and saying like, I'll do anything and hopefully it will work out. What do I have to lose? And then since then we've had like a really loyal following, a group of people who like will just like are like our fans and will support anything we do, and they'll make like a special effort to support us as well, which is so nice. And then since we moved here, the response has just been like, I can't even put it into words like how crazy it's been in terms of being busy, but like new faces as well. I think also because we're so visible on Windermere Road, we're getting like a lot of new clientele in, which is amazing. But yeah, this space has just surpassed any expectations. And I remember like thinking when we were doing it, like, is anybody gonna come? Like, why do people come to Churchill Road? Like, surely it's not the location. And you always have those like doubts as a business owner, I guess, as an entrepreneur. You're like, will people get it, and will people actually support? And like, it's been next level. Yeah.
The all-female team was unintentional in the beginning. I really wasn't sure what to expect on Churchill Road there. It was just a bit of trial and error. And then, as the weeks went by into us opening, I realised I'm actually going to need some help here. Before I knew it, I had 11, 12, 13 staff members, and now I think we have about 31 amazing women working for us. It was never my goal to have an all-women staff, but it's definitely worthwhile. I think we have such a beautiful dynamic here. It's a bit of a dysfunctional family dynamic, but we get the work done and we have a lot of fun while doing it, which I think in this industry being so intense and so hardcore, it's really important to be able to come to a space where you can actually have a laugh, have a joke, and get on with the people that you work with. It just makes us so much stronger as a team.
Be Nice was actually, I have to give that to an ex-employee of mine who now lives in the UK, Casca. So we went through this like really hectic time after COVID where like people were being like really mean. It was like really, we noticed like people's attitude towards service industry people like changed. So we just put a sign up on the door saying be nice or leave. Just to like kind of say to people, be nice or leave. And then we were like, it'd be so cool to make this into a cap. But we just encapsulated the be nice part. And then we'll just tell people to leave if they have to. But yeah, so that came from that. And then people seem to get the message. But it's also quite nice because I feel like it also like leans back to, or like speaks to the whole concept of Humble being like a space for everybody, so like you can come here alone and sit in the corner and read a book and feel totally at home. And it's like also a nice message for like the team to be nice to each other. And yeah, it's just like you can't go wrong with being nice to people. You get what you give. Oh, but you know, that's like the fun thing about working in coffee is it's like coffee is just different people's perceptions. And like I always said that like I wanted Humble to be a super approachable place. So like, you know, like even me as like a coffee professional, I'd say, I mean, would I say, I don't know. It's all about like, at the end of the day, if you like your coffee with a spoon of sugar in it, we're not going to judge you for it. It's like more important that the customers come and have a nice interaction with Portia, me, Nintendo, whoever's working, and then they can, you know, like associate that coffee with like a positive experience. And then you kind of like slowly but surely over the years of them coming to you, they'll grow their coffee knowledge like organically anyway, start adding less sugar to coffee because they start enjoying the taste more. And it kind of happens like organically rather than trying to like change somebody's idea or perception of what they think coffee is, because it is such like a, I mean, even like we learn new things all the time. Like, yeah, different coffees, different dial-ins, different flavors, how temperature affects the beans, especially in a Durban climate as well, like when you're dealing with humidity and winter mornings that are like a little bit cold.
Through load shedding.
Load shedding,
Yeah.
curveballs, all sorts.
Yeah.
Oh, I've been